Hey guys, my name's Nova, this is Film Express, and today it's my absolute joy to be talking to you about the new DreamWorks film, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Guys, I am so surprised that this movie ended up winning me over the way it did. I didn't think there was going to be like a bottom of the ninth home run swing of a movie at the end of 2022. This film came out in like the last 2 weeks of 2022 and it ended up being one of the better films I've seen this year. In fact, I even made my top 20 list before having seen this just because I had no hopes in the last, couple of weeks of 2022 that there would be a film of this caliber coming in and proving to be more cinematic than most of the films that I've seen this year and most of the films that people have rated highly. There was a lot of hype coming with this movie. A lot of people were saying it's one of the better animation films that they've seen in a long time, and you know what, I had to check it for myself. It ended up absolutely blowing me away from the first frame to the last frame. This is unironically one of the best films of 2022, and it truly deserves that type of status. This is an inventive movie. It's super charming, it's super entertaining, it's extremely creative, and it's actually hilarious. What's most impressive here about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is that there's actually such an incredible filmmaking craft and such a love for film behind every single frame and every single creative decision. From the animation style, it's super on point. It mixes like the Spider-Verse style with DreamWorks CGI. It ends up becoming a visual blend that extremely works for me. It's one of the more delightfully visual films I've seen this year as well. Not only are the visuals crazy, the cinematography choices, the camera movements within that world are very inventive, but the transitions from scene to scene are also very well thought out. You could really tell the director put a lot of time and effort into making this a very well crafted film. Humor might be great, the story might be great, but above all, it's a very artfully crafted piece of work. And that sounds crazy to say about an animation film like this that's intended for children. I truly think that this is even more of a film that adults can appreciate. The humor is obviously very on point in this film. There's a lot of jokes that actually had me laughing out loud. But I would say this, like when I say it's geared for adults, for every one joke that was mostly oriented towards kids, there were like 3 or 5 jokes that you had to be around 25, 30, 40 years old to understand the types of references that it's making. It's making references to like Apocalypse Now, it's making references to Scarface, it's making references to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. These are types of things many kids haven't seen, most kids haven't seen. So to catch on to these references myself, I was fully blown away, in every aspect. Cast here is putting on like a masterclass of voice acting. This is Antonio Banderas' most energetic, most playful, most hilarious role. He's giving such a great vocal performance here. Salma Hayek as well, she was fantastic in her small role here. John Mulaney, I feel like he really stole the show. He was so good in this one. A lot of the times that John Mulaney's character was on scene are the times where I've laughed the hardest, honestly. It's crazy that a film that's oriented for kids will also have the song This Is the End by The Doors in a small sequence, and it's like an homage to Apocalypse Now, like I said, but this is the kind of thing that's almost like trying to win over lovers of film and most adults, because a lot of people do love The Doors in my age group or older, around that. So to me, this was just such a creative choice, but it's also one that I feel like is very purposeful. There were a lot of sequences in this film that feel incredible. They're super visually entertaining. They have like emotionally high stakes, and again, they're super creative. There's a travel montage in this film that was one of the more unique sequences alone that I've seen this year. It's almost like a reference to old westerns like The Stagecoach or The Searchers by John Ford. It's a type of travel montage that you would see in old classic cinema, but they're bringing back that style here in a kid's film and making it super accessible and super entertaining. I was very impressed. I think the best part of this whole movie, and you guys might have heard some of the hype about this, it's the villain. A lot of these villains in animated films, they're usually very inconsequential. They can be funny, they can be fun, they can be, pretty badass here and there, but none of them are as intense or badass as the wolf here who's representing death in Puss in Boots. Obviously, with a villain like Death, you can obviously think that the themes are, mortality, getting older, accepting that one's time is coming to an end. These are all very powerful themes to explore in a kid's film, but that character of Death, he's one of the most badass, most iconic, most visual villains that I've seen, not only in an animated film, but most films this year. It's a villain that carries so much weight, that carries high stakes, and it makes the whole plot feel so tangible and so real. You know, they always say a cat has 9 lives. Well, Puss in Boots is on his last life here, and it really feels like it's important to everybody in the story. There's not a single character here that is put in there for fluff. They're all trying to achieve something. They all have very, very realistic arcs, and they're all motivated by good writing. And to me, that's again another reason why this film is such a great success of a movie. And it's doing incredibly well at the box office, but it's done incredibly well with critics and fans alike. Everybody seems to love this film, even a cynic like me. You know, as the best moments of the Shrek films have done, like Shrek 1 and Shrek 2, the film plays with like lore and fairy tale characters, characters that we all know and love, you know, from our childhood, but they do so in a very super interesting way. They kind of flip things on their head. They flip your expectations a little bit. And to me, that's what makes the film and these characters super believable and super real. You know, obviously it's an animated film, so you basically take everything as an entertainment factor, but the way everything is written here, even like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, they feel like, you know, basically real people. The dynamics are real. It's written in a very sensible and mature way. I think this film has something for everybody, and everybody should watch it as soon as they can. It's truly one of the bigger, better successes of 2022, and I'm just surprised that it was not even on my radar. It came out in the last 2 weeks of 2022, and it ended up being easily taking a spot in my top 10 films of the year. So with that being said, guys, that's my review of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I absolutely love this film. I give it a 9 out of 10, and I urge you all to go check it out as soon as possible. So this is Film Express, guys. My name's Nova. Please like and subscribe. Please share some comments. Let me know if you've seen Puss in Boots and what you think. Let's keep the discussions going, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.